Welcome. I'm Warren Odess-Gillette, and this is A Baha'i Perspective. Welcome to A Baha'i Perspective. I recorded an interview with Olya Roohizadegan on August 9th, 2022. Olia grew up in Iran under the severe persecution of the Iranian Islamic regime after the 1979 revolution. She, along with 10 other women, were arrested soon after for being Baha'is. All of her 10 women companions were eventually hanged, and Olia believes she was spared so that she could share their story with the world. One of these women was a 16-year-old named Mona, who was arrested for being a teacher at Baha'i children's classes. Olia eventually escaped Iran and published Olya's Story, a survivor's dramatic account of the persecution of Baha'is in revolutionary Iran. Since the release of the book in 1993, exactly 10 years after the execution of her 10 women companions, she has presented herself in over 1,000 public venues telling this story. She wants to write a second book demonstrating how the death of these women allowed her to spread their message of love and unity throughout the world. I started the interview by having Olia describe her life growing up in Iran.
I born Baha'i family in Iran, the city called Jahron, very fanatic. I remember when I was 6-7 years old, I went to a school, and then teacher in the class first, everybody is Muslim here. She said, one non-Muslim here, you are Baha'i, told me that you are untouchable and clean, you cannot mix with the other student, you have to go put in the one chair end of the classroom. And then the teacher mentioned, you cannot have water, you cannot play with the other student. I was just shocked what happened. When I back home, I asked my father, I was very bad today in a school, what is the Baha'i faith? When my father told me that Baha'i faith is independent world religion, founder of Baha'i faith was Baha'u'llah. And we believe all manifestation of God, Abraham, Krishna, Moses, Jesus, Buddha, Zoroaster, Muhammad. We believe in Baha'u'llah as a manifestation of God for this age and today. And principle of Baha'u'llah is unity of mankind, unity of religion, independent investigation of truth. And my dad said, I love to leave it to yourself. As I was Muslim, my dad said, I searched myself to find the Baha'i faith for this age and today. He said that he can't explain everything. He said, when I became Baha'i, I married as a Baha'i with one family. After a few years, my father attacked and then tortured and then forced him to deny his faith. And he didn't, and my father was tortured very, very bad. That time his wife was pregnant, and then after a few months later, his wife died as well and lost the baby. That day, 8 Baha'i with father-in-law of my dad in Jahron were executed. My dad, when his wife passed away, and married my mom. Mom was Baha'i. Then when I was 12 years old, I went to Shiraz city, and they told me that we have to go to see the house of the Bab. I said, who is the Bab? Said, Bab is a manifestation of God as well. Bab was like the John the Baptist. Suddenly, my father started to pray. 1,000 people attacked to this house. I tried to stop people. Why you destroy this beautiful house? As a 12 years old child, I feel very, very peacefully. I tried to stop people, My grandfather said, don't say anything. We came out. That broken my heart. I start that time to searching about Baha'i faith.
So your father and mother became caretakers of the house of the Bab?
Yes, they moved 1980 to 1982.
He was the custodian for the house of the Bab. And for our listeners' sake, you were explaining that the Bab is the forerunner of Baha'u'llah in the Baha'i faith, and we consider him a manifestation of God just as we do Baha'u'llah. So how old were you when the house of the Bab was attacked by fanatics?
I was 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Later, the house always was attacked, but it still was not bad until when revolution happened.
So you're referring to the revolution that occurred in 1979, in which the Shah was toppled and Khomeini came into power.
Exactly. When Khomeini came to power, he announced that all people in Iran has got right freedom. All Baha'i, we were happy because they mentioned about his law. After his power established, it started to burn house of the people, Baha'i. That time I was married, I had children, 3 children I had. Home was in Shiraz. So I video when the Bahai's house was burning. I recorded, make people homeless. It start also to sack Baha'i. They used to working. My job was working for office for oil company. My husband was mechanical engineer. 32 years was working for oil company. Not only me and my husband, all Baha'is around Iran sack their job because government said if you deny your faith, become Muslim, you can have job. But we didn't. And then stop Baha'is pensions, stop Baha'i youth. They don't allow them go to college, university. In that time, when my son was 12 years old, other was 15 years old, 1979, my husband still both, we had a working job in oil company. We brought them in England to be safe and study. It was 1982. My third baby was 3 years old. I took him to the kindergarten. One of the daughter-in-law of Kaleji in Shiraz, day after, when I go, said, your child cannot come anymore to kindergarten, childcare. I said, why not? Said, because he's Baha'i, he's a spy. I said, 2 years old, 2 years, 3 years old baby, a spy? Said, yes, because you are Baha'i, you are a spy.
When did the arrests of the Baha'is begin?
It started exactly 1980 and disappeared 11 Baha'is, 9 members of National Religious Assembly, and then 2 others disappeared 11 until today. Nobody know. Nobody know what happened to them. And then after that, attack to all the Baha'is house around in Shiraz. More than 200 Baha'is were executed. One of them, my brother-in-law. They start city to city, village to village. Many Baha'is were homeless. And then also stopped Baha'is pensions. Very sad.
And I understand you visited the Baha'is in prison. So what was prison life like for these people that got arrested?
When my friends were arrested with the family of prisoners, I go with them. After 8 hours waiting to allow us, they brought them in partition by phone, but talk was controlled. They cannot tell us what the situation torture them. Always just say, how are you? Are you okay? They said, yes. Yes, okay, because they were under control and pressure. They told them, you cannot say we torture you. If you say, tell to family, we torture you more.
Olya, tell us about your own arrest.
It was 29th of November, 1982. Several Revolutionary
Guard, yeah.
and rang my home number.
Mm-hmm.
I said, who are you? We are your neighbor. I found that through the other Baha'i were arrested. They came to their house. They make an excuse, your neighbor, we need this. The Baha'i believe that when they come in, they attack to their house. But when they told me that we are your neighbor, can you open the door? I said, understanding you are not neighbor. Say the truth. Says, open the door. I said, as you know, recently Ayatollah Khomeini announced that don't allow anyone to come to your house. They said, not for you, Baha'i, not for Baha'i, for other people, because many people, they were against, not happy with the government. Anyway, they came to my home. That time, my son was 3 years old and was happy play with his bicycle, and then told my husband, don't move. We had a guest, don't move. One guard by gun, they told me that you sitting here and putting the gun through me. 3 other guards had the gun. They go to different room, all saving account, birth certificate, checkbook, anything we had, our photograph, all the Baha'i book confiscated. And then after 4 hours, they said, let's go and anybody can look after your child. I said, no, we haven't got anyone. They said to my husband, you stay home, look after your 3-year-old child. When they took me to the street to their car, my little boy follow and crying, shout, cry, please don't take my mom. I love my mom. Please, please hold the handle of their car. Stop, because it was very, very bad shouting, crying, and all the neighbor Muslim came out. What happened? When saw that, oh God, they have gone, all scared back to their house.
Why was it that they took you instead of someone else from the house? Why did they take you?
Yes, because they know me. If any Baha'i homeless, not only Baha'is, when the people were homeless, like when come earthquake, store, Baha'i community collect food, clothes, facility, and I was one of them to collect the money to the Baha'i community. They gave help because for us all we are one people, one family. Many city was earthquake badly. People lose their house, everything, and then I used to love to help homeless people. Mm-hmm. They told me, it's your crime. Why to help to Muslim people? I said, for us, we are one people, one family, one God. Why you say this is your crime? This is the reason they choose me.
And what was the charge placed against you? What was the charge?
The charge was why you are Baha'i, why you help homeless people. Many Baha'i were homeless because they burned their house, confiscated their houses. I helped them. Any homeless people, any people they needed.
What happened when you arrived in prison?
When they took me by their car, they put a gun in my head. I said, why are you putting the gun in my head? Said, if you want to escape. I said, I didn't do anything wrong. Why I escaped? When you want to take me where? Said, in prison. When I arrived in prison, they blindfolded me and then mental torture for several hours. I sat there, then finally one of them guards took her to the cell. I had the blindfold, suddenly opened one door and pushed me inside. Suddenly it was dark. Lady guard inside said, are you Baha'i? She know that 40 Baha'is we were arrested. And then that night, one by one, when the door opened, dark cell suddenly pushed prisoner and then fell down, was very bad, treated. That night, we couldn't sleep because brought more. And then after that, a start for interrogation. I was lucky because with a group, with the Lady Baha'is, we were together blindfolded us. They gave us one rule of newspaper. They said you are untouchable. And then you one by one, they said, are you still Baha'i? We said yes. They put the gun against our head and said, we won't kill you if not deny your faith. Are you still Baha'i? We said yes. Really, if I tell you that, very difficult.
Right.
Always I said, I wish make one day documentary in prison to show the people to watch that. Our food, one plate food, and said, share with 3 others. We said, where is spoon? Said, here is not your home. And then they gave us one dirty blanket. And then we have no bed. We cell was 6 by 4 meter, 2 was joined together, 100 prisoners with the drug addict were Muslim, political, sick people. Oh, was really painful. They took them for torture. They brought them back. They tortured people, come and brought them in front of you. You can see the bleeding people. Over 250 lashes beaten by electric cable in their back, in their feet.
Why do you think you were not physically tortured?
3 months before arrest me, I had a dream. Abdul Baha, son of Baha'u'llah, he showed me this prison, this cell. Later I was that cell. In my dream, he told me that you have to become my neighbor. I love you, become my neighbor. But be sure I will protect you. I will save your life. Twice time they took me in basement with Mahshid Niruman, which place was for torture, physical torture. My eyes was blindfold. And then my heart was boom, boom, boom. I said, Abdul Baha, they want to torture me. Twice time they took us to that basement for torture. But they didn't torture physically. I don't know. Many people, maybe they have experience about the dream. Many people, they don't believe that. But I believe that Abdul Baha saved my life for a reason. Afterward, I understanding what reason will of God was some plan for me.
How long were you in prison?
Nearly 2 months I was in prison. 1 month we have no any contact with family. 2 prison we been. First was called Sepa in Shiraz. Then second one was Zendan Adilabad prison. We been third floor for prisoner were for executed. In Sepa, I have to explain that some day 8 hours, some day 12 hours, some day even 16 hours. Question who is Baha'i, who was a member of assembly. Question lot, they want information. We explained to them that we Baha'is, we are not involved with politics, but they don't believe that. When I was second time in that prison, they told me that if you give deed your house, you will be free. One of them guard, I don't know, this man told me that when they want to discharge me from that prison, he said to me, 22 people, Baha'is, your name also was list, you will be hanged. 22 people. I was surprised this guard, who was it? Maybe when I used to oil company working, help her family, his family, I don't know who was he. He said that you are not free, you are temporary. They want to follow you, find more Baha'is. Don't stay in Shiraz. I said, I didn't do anything wrong. I love my home. I want to go. He said, they took your deed of your house. They want to take your house as well. Anyway, when I was discharged temporary, as this gentleman told me, exactly a few days later, attack to my house for second time. My neighbor Muslim, which I tell you that my neighbor Muslim, when I was in the jail prison, she, with the 12 Muslim neighbor, wrote a letter to my interrogator, and they said, why you arrest my good neighbor? Even my boss, oil company, although I was sacked from my job, with all colleagues, men and women, wrote a letter. They said, why you arrest her? Please, soon as possible, discharge her. They all defend me. And my neighbor, for second time, when saw Revolutionary Guard came to arrest me, I didn't know, because our house had two doors, front and back door. And then she rang and my husband picked the phone, said, quick, from back door, you escape, because now my husband occupied them. For Revolutionary Guard, they want to arrest your wife again and kill her. That time my little boy was poor, 3 years old, was sick in the bed, high temperature. We escaped from back door, and then we went to other city from Shiraz. Only we had one car.
Olia, was that the beginning of your escape from Iran?
Yes.
Tell us about your escape from Iran.
When by car came from Shiraz to Tehran, we sold that car. Baluch, who know the way through the border Iran and Pakistan. We gave that money 6 days and night, border Iran and Pakistan through the mountain. I would like to add something. In prison, I told them about my dream to Baha'i prisoner, because I feel Abdul Baha told me that I will save your life. If they discharge me, I love go out, tell the world our story, because I was witness. The same day when called me for discharge, they said, please promise to us, go out of Iran, tell the world, because we don't want what happened to us to happen to anyone. I promised to them.
So
when I arrived,
you were going to talk about when you arrived in Pakistan?
I went to United Nations. I told them what happened in Iran, and we applied go to England. Then I start to write all my memory. Our life very hard, difficult, because we have not enough money. Border Iran and Pakistan through the mountain. If you read my book, you will be surprised how we survive. Even by helicopter, Revolutionary Guard searching for us. That was miracle. I wrote their memory exactly 2 months later when I was in Pakistan. I had a dream I never ever forget. In my dream, suddenly one of them, my relative, Mrs. Nusrat Yaldai, come, said, Olya, Olya, look at us. Why are you crying? Look, all we are free like you now. Look at us. Be happy. We are free. Suddenly, I wake up crying. My husband said, why are you crying? I said, oh, they killed them. They said, why you have no phone, you have not contact. Why you say they killed them? I said, I had a dream the women all come to me and said, don't cry, be happy, we are free now. Like you, we are here now. Said, oh, they are free. I said, no, their souls are free, but their body was killed. I couldn't sleep. Morning, I went to Baha'i center in Pakistan, asked the secretary, contact Mr. Henderson, was secretary of Baha'i in America, and then says, any Baha'is were killed? Said, yes, last night 10 Baha'i women were killed. 2 days before, 6 Baha'i men were executed. And then I said, please ask them to name of them. And then when this gentleman asked, can you tell us their name? One by one said, yes, yes, Mona was 17 years old, and my heart come boom, boom, boom. And then they said, Akhtar Sabit, it was 23 years old then, said, Simin Sabiri, 24. I know I was with them. I was same cell. And Shirin Dalman, 25 years old, was graduate in university. Majid Niruma, 27. And Zari Muqimi also was highly educated. Tahir Siyabashi was nurse as Akhtar Sabit. Her husband, Jamshid Siyabashi, 2 days before, were also killed. 70 days and night, torture her husband. Dr. Bahram Afnan, surgeon for heart, and Bahram Yaldai, 28 years old, with mother Nusrat Yaldai, and then Soil Hushman, 28 years old, just was engaged. Kurosh Hakbin as well. 6 Baha'i men were, June 1980, all hanged them by rope, and 10 women all together front of each other. Mona was last one. One guard later told to mothers, Mona said, your daughter was very, very strong. When by one woman hanged them, she was lost and prayed for them. And then she was lost. One kissed the rope, put her necks, and prayed for their steadfastness. This is a story of love, a story of sacrifice.
So, Olya, you finally wrote your memoir called Olya's Story. It was published in 1994.
1993, exactly anniversary of 10 Baha'i lady, exactly same day were hanged.
So the book was published in 1993, and you're saying it was published exactly 10 years to the day when those 10 ladies were hung.
And also by German language, 1995, and also 1996 by Portuguese and also Spanish as well.
Now it's been nearly 30 years since that book was published.
Yes, nearly 30 years, exactly. You are right. Yes.
And you're still finding interest in that book by the public?
Yes. I remember was in England for children, was in the kindergarten, and They asked me, teachers said, tell them that about love, unity. I talked to them, I said, it's very difficult. And they said, no, they should learn about love and cope if something happened to them, trust in God. And then media was interested, even dignitary people. I went to United Nations, European Parliament. I went to Geneva as well.
So, Olia, tell me about what will be different about this book than the first book, Olia's Story.
I can exactly follow up of that first book, because that first book show what happened revolution in Iran, what happened, what they did to the Baha'is. I have to tell you, when last my interrogator brought my 3-year-old son, put in my lap and says that, do you love your children? I said, yes, I do. Said, do you love this baby? I said, of course. Said, if you deny your faith, you will be free. I said, I'm sorry, I cannot deny my faith. We believe unity of religion. We believe independent investigation of truth. We believe equality of men and women. We believe that religion must be agreed with science reason. We believe religion must be cause of unity and love. We believe all manifestation of God is one. We believe one God, we are one family, one people. Interrogated said, no, only one religion in Islam. If you not deny your faith, I will kill your child in front of you and then kill you as well. I said, you can kill our body, but you cannot kill our souls. That is it. Reason I want to second book show that they kill their body, but they cannot kill the souls. The souls of those 10 women, not only 10 women, over 200 Baha'is. And then look at that. They helped me. More than 1,000 interview I had around the world to people to know that. This is very powerful second book as well. So many experience when they publish, amazing, innocent. Still until today happen. Attack my family's house. Many Baha'is Iran in prison day by day, every day. And Baha'is, they have no any right. They do not enjoy the basic human rights granted to other citizens in Iran. The Baha'i youth, they don't allow them go to university. I think that honestly, prison was best university for me. I learned that. I don't feel any hate government in Iran. I remember when the mental torture, I was badly in prison. I don't feel any hate.
When do you think your second book will come out?
I'm not sure. I have so many information. Everywhere when I go, I record it by video. Need a lot of work to do.
What do you want to say to the people of the world about the plight of the Baha'is in Iran?
I can see day by day when the Baha'i are arrested very badly. All people, even Muslim, even Christianity, all people, media, defense the Baha'is. I love to thank them to know that Baha'i faith is really 7 million around the world. They know that aim of the Baha'i faith, love, unity, and peace established in the earth. I don't feel any hate government Iran. I forgive them and pray for them. By revenge, by fighting, nothing achieved. I love people, all religion, all people come together because one God, one people, we are one land, we are as all one family. By fighting, we cannot achieve anything. We have to support each other.
Olya, I want to thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to this interview with Olya Roohizadegan, who was imprisoned in Iran and was able to escape and wrote the memoir Olya's Story, a survivor's dramatic account of the persecution of Baha'is in revolutionary Iran. In the introduction to this interview, I referred to one of the women hanged for their belief, a 16-year-old named Mona. I play various musical pieces following this interview dedicated to this brave young teenager. You can find this interview and other interviews on the website abahaiperspective.com and on the YouTube channel A Baha'i Perspective. You can find this podcast on Spotify and iTunes. For information specifically on the Baha'i Faith, you can go to the website baha'i.org, or you can call the number 1-800-22-UNITE. I hope you'll join me next time on A Baha'i Perspective.
This song is about a girl named Mona. She was executed at the age of 16. And until the last moment, she stood strong in the face of oppression. Innocent people torn from their homes. What is this prejudice? What is this hatred? Carried in sacks and beat to the bone. How is this violence meant to be sacred? Yeah, we all gotta sacrifice, but their souls carry on in the afterlife. Their souls carry on in the afterlife. Their souls carry on in the afterlife. And among these Baha'is arose one girl, had one dream just to change the world. They said, what could she do? Cause she's only 16. She could recognize truth that nobody had seen. She could change the world one soul at a time. Where is her freedom, a gift divine? She said reunion is life, separation is death. That's what I gotta say to my last breath. Go ahead, take me home, but don't take my family, take me alone. Alright, go ahead, take us all. I'm gonna kiss the rope, I'm gonna raise the call, she said.
Just take my soul away. Can you free me from these chains? God, where have you gone? Let me share with you my pain.
This is what she said. She said freedom is the most brilliant word that exists in the whole world. So why am I not free to exist in this community? I got dreams of liberty, but when I open up my eyes, all I see is tyranny. And I swear by the red in my veins that there is no love. I can only see pain, I can only see the blood that'll drip like rain. Only see the villains that are killing with no shame. And the filling of the cemetery with all of my friends not willing to stop. They go again and again. They're coming real fast and they're coming to attack. I'll sit right here, just breathe and relax. Think thoughts that'll make me smile. Gotta close my eyes, pray for a while. Cause reunion is life, separation is death. That's what I gotta say to my last breath. Go ahead, take me home, but don't take my family, take me alone. Alright, go ahead, take us all. I'm gonna kiss the rope, I'm gonna raise the call, and I'm ready to go, so please set me free. Please break these chains, Lord, when will it be?
Just take my soul away. Can you free me from these chains? God, where have you gone? Let me share with you my pain. children. Send your love to me, and all around the world we'll be dancing. Every precious moment will be free. I can see her in my heart. The whole world was falling apart. She said, this is where I've got to be. A captive in the light, a love that burns so bright. This is where I've got to be. And when they asked her, what could she say? She said, you can't break my heart, you can't take my faith away. And when they told her the price that she would pay, she said, take my life, take it all away, all away. Mona with the children, send your love to me, and all around the world we'll be dancing. Every precious moment will be free. Mona with the children, send your love. Ooh. Every precious moment will be free.
In the cradle of his faith, where the rivers turn to red, the sunlight softens the dark, and the shadows in their lives drift apart. She stands before her fate, and the heavens open the gates. From the darkness they are called. 10 brave women to face the end. She smiles and prays for their faith, and she knows their inner souls are filled with grace. One final chance to deny. She lifts her eyes, no is her reply. Mona, angel, resolute and strong, your smile drifts across the ages and whispers your song. Mona, the comfort they feel from your eyes, in the silence that echoes before Mona dies, in the silence that echoes before Mona dies. She is led into the square. All the angels have gathered there. Mona, angel, resolute and strong. Your smile drifts across the ages and whispers your song. Mona, the comfort they feel from your eyes in the silence that echoes before Mona dies. In the silence that echoes before Mona dies.
They can take my life away, but this love will never change. They can take my rights away, but I'll grow stronger every day. They can take my life away, but this love will never change. They can take my rights away, but I'll grow stronger every day.
It's my right to live a life that's free, my right to simply be a citizen who believes in world equality. We shouldn't have to hide or feel the need to cower. Our beliefs shape who we are, they give us inner power. With our heads held high, we shall walk on. With utmost love in our hearts, we remain strong. They ask the question, we refuse, because it is our right to choose.
They can take my life away, but this love will never change. They can take my rights away, but I'll grow stronger every day. They can take my life away, but this love will never change. They can take my rights away, but I'll grow stronger every day.
In the silence of this courtroom, I closed my eyes and saw the future. Around the time that we heard from the prosecutors. And Your Honor, I think you've already made your choice. So to the jury, please excuse me if I rejoice. Cause it was years ago, back when I decided to save a place inside my heart where Baha'u'llah's resided. And my family all around the world will watch and pray. So I am not alone. Will I surrender? Not today.
They can take my life
Away.
but this love will never change.
This love will never change.
They can take my rights away,
Yeah, I'll grow stronger every day.
they can take
You can
my
take my
life
life away.
but this love will never change.
No, my love will never change.
They can take my rights away,
Yeah, I'll grow stronger every day. Yeah.
It's my right to an education, my right to the living I'm making, and yet they keep taking away from me. My material possessions have been ruined and put to pieces. My spirit remains a whole, my attachment thus decreases. Still in the state, though times have changed, they haven't changed enough. The friends must hide, obey, pray to avoid themselves handcuffed. Battles change, but sacrifice remains the same. This is my devotion that ignites my inner flame.
they can take my life away, but this love will never change. They can take my rights away, but
I'll grow stronger every day.
They can take my life away, but this love will never change. They can take my rights away,
Yeah, I'll grow stronger every day. Yeah.
they can take my life away, but this love will never change.
This love will never change.
They can take my rights away,
Yeah, I'll grow stronger every day. Yeah.
they can take my
Take
life
my
away,
life away.
but this love will never change.
No, my love will never change.
They can take my rights away,
Yeah, I'll grow stronger every day. Yeah.
In my dark some night, when I've lost lost my light, and my worldly mind is tired and worried. You know I need someone to lead me to the sun, to take my hand when I can't find my courage. Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord, won't you take me home? Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord, won't you take me home? Hace tiempo ya dejé de respirar y tu aliento no logró alcanzarme. Pude despertar de esa oscuridad al sonido de tu voz al llamarme. Oh Señor, Señor, regrésame a mi hogar. Oh Señor, Señor, regrésame a mi hogar. Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord, won't you take me home? Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord, won't you take me home?
In the dark some night of despair, my eye turneth expectant and full of hope to the morn of thy boundless favor. And at the hour of dawn, my drooping soul is refreshed and strengthened in remembrance of thy beauty and perfection. He whom the grace of thy mercy aideth, though he be but a drop, shall become the boundless ocean, and the nearest atom which the outpouring of thy loving kindness assisteth, shall shine even as the radiant star.
Take me